Alright, let's not kid ourselves here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most epic Yami cosplay that's ever been done. I got a sword, and I got a cigarette, which is 100% real, so therefore, I'm Yami. Alright, now, let's also not kid ourselves. This is the video everyone's been waiting for. I mean, come on now. It's Yami we're talking about today. God dang. You know, I'm sure maybe you have your own personal favorite Black Bull. Like, oh, I was really excited for Finral's video, or Noelle's video, or Asta's video. But at the end of the day, I think we can all come together as one big fandom and say Yami is, like, the single coolest character in this entire story. I mean, like, it's like, even if he's not your personal favorite, you could be like, yeah, he's the single coolest guy in this entire story. And we're finally talking about him! That's how this works. You have to talk about every single member of the particular Magic Knight squad before you can talk about the captain. After this, I'm talking about the Silver Eagles. I gotta slog through every random member of the Silver Eagles, even if they were only shown in a single panel way in the background, before we get to Nozel. That's how this works. I'm not doing a video on the Silver Eagles. Sorry if I was excited. I might do individual videos on the captains, but I'm not talking about, like, every single Magic Knight squad. By the way, can you tell I've never smoked a cigarette before in my life? Yeah. Alright, so, yeah, Yami, look, okay. Whenever you have a shonen manga, one of the first things you gotta do is you gotta introduce a character that knows all their shit, alright? Like, for example, in Naruto, you got the plucky protagonist, you got Naruto, but at the very beginning of the story, Naruto doesn't know that much about chakra or jutsu, so you can't see him busting out all the really cool stuff. That's where Kakashi comes in, alright? Introduce the mentor figure very early on in the manga, and Kakashi shows up and he's like, alright guys, stand back. I'm the guy that actually knows how to do all this jutsu crap, you know? Fire style, water style, earth style, got a damn Sharingan, Inu, Ichi ni san yon go rakunada, you know, all that crap, alright? So then we were like, okay, yeah, Kakashi's badass, and then slowly throughout the course of the manga, Naruto and Sasuke and everybody, they get stronger and stronger, they learn a little bit more, and then eventually you get to the point where they surpass, you know, Kakashi. And so that's gradual, but you have to have a character early on that is like, okay, yeah, this is the person that knows everything that they're doing, and they've been at this for years, okay? But the thing I love about this so much is that Tabata, you could tell, loves Yami so much that, like, he includes him in, like, major fights. So it's like, yeah, Asta, you won, you played a role in this, but Yami was also there playing a huge role as well, you know? Like, I'm sure at some point in the story we're probably gonna get to, like, okay, Yami's gonna have to step back, and it's like, well, it looks like Yuno and Asta have surpassed me. Guess it's time for this old man to step back in the shadows and let the younger generation take. Screw this! Dimension Slash! You know? That's how he does it. Like, even in the final battle with Zagrid, you know, the devil dude that comes out and everything. Yes, Asta did get the final attack out on him, but it was a joint effort there between Asta and Yuno and Yami. Alright? In fact, you could argue that Yami was the one that opened up, you know, Zagrid's, like, literally opened up, like, gave an opening, but also, like, literally, he bisected him straight down the middle to allow Asta to have that final attack, the Black Divider, to actually slice him up for good and kill him. But it was Yami that was there that was like, alright, looks like they have a little bit of trouble here. I'm gonna charge up a bit here, Charla. Okay, here we go. Dimension Slash Equinox! And then slices reality, and then that was the thing that really opened up Zagrid, and so Asta could finish him off there, alright? So, yeah, and right now, in the manga, I mean, we already did, you know, like, spoiler alert for the beginning of the video and everything, but right now in the manga, Dante is aiming to capture Yami and utilize his dark magic to that tree technique, you know, the world tree magic, plus the dark magic will be able to, like, influence the world and the world of devils and, like, meld the two together and get, like, the devil realm into the human realm. Like, it's kind of vague exactly what the Spade Kingdom is up to right now. There's probably going to be a lot of twists and turns along the way, but for right now, we got William Vengeance and Yami Sukehiro are the main targets of the Spade Kingdom and Dante and everybody. So that means, that of course means that in this upcoming arc, Yami is going to be a principal character. Alright, so that's what I love. It's just like, we're like 200-something chapters into Black Clover already, and it's like, alright, maybe Yami needs to step back and we'll focus more on Asta and the upcoming... Nope! Yami's the coolest! he's still going to be a prevalent character in this arc. Oh my god, I'm hoping to every single thing in the gods of manga and anime alike, I'm hoping Yami does not die in this story. I'm really hoping he doesn't. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about him, a little bit about his backstory. Just interesting in the sense that he was not born in the Clover Kingdom, alright? So he's kind of outside all of this. He was originally from the Land of the Sun. We don't know much about the Land of the Sun, given the fact he uses a katana, and given the fact that Japan is, literally the kanji for sun is in Japan, the name of the country, Nihon. So it's Hino in Black Clover. The Hino Kingdom. But yeah, so it's indicative of Japan, and the story he gave, and it was like when he was fighting against, well, we thought it was leaked at the time, when he was fighting against Patri during the cave raid and everything. He's like, Patri's giving him the story of like, these are the elves, and the elves were wiped out by the humans, and that was so bad and horrible. You have no idea what my past was like. And Yami's like, alright, well, hold on, I dropped my cigarette here. He's like, yeah, well, I got a story for you too, elf bastard. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman. He got lost. He ended washing ashore in this weird place. The end. Yeah, by the way, the kid was me. Shing. When he was a teenager, so it wasn't like Yami washed ashore in the Clover Kingdom when he was like a baby or a toddler and he doesn't remember his homeland. No, he remembers his homeland quite a bit, and he remembers the things he got taught there, like about ki and sensing it, and utilizing his weapon of choice is a katana, which is not a weapon that's indicative of the Clover Kingdom. It's something from that other realm, the Sun Kingdom. So he was already like a 15-year-old, maybe, I think a little bit younger than that. I think he was maybe 12, 13 years old when he ended up washing ashore, on the Clover Kingdom, right? So he was essentially stranded. He had no way of getting back. He spoke a foreign tongue, and we all know how the people of the Clover Kingdom treat just the peasants, so you can imagine how they treat somebody that just washed ashore from a foreign land. They weren't very kind to Yami in any way, and he basically had to live a rough life growing up there. Eventually, Julius meets him, and eventually after that, he gets his grimoire, he accesses his dark magic, which is extraordinarily rare, and Julius kind of takes him under his wing, and he raises him. Yami becomes a member of the Grey Deer that was captained by Julius at the time, and then eventually, when he grows up, Julius makes him the Black Bull's Magic Knight captain. And Yami, in that particular instance, is like, well, I know I'm pretty badass and all. I got dark magic and I use a katana. I don't see anyone else in this kingdom using a katana. It's the coolest weapon, and I'm the only one that uses it. I know I'm pretty badass here, but I'm gonna do things my own way, and maybe the higher-ups might not like that too much, but Julius was like, you'll be fine, man. I've been watching you ever since you washed ashore here, and I can tell that you have some traits that'll definitely be useful. And I think Julius saw, like, in order for the country to reform, in order for it to change and become a little better place to live for everybody involved, it is extraordinarily necessary that you become the Magic Knight captain. And the crazy thing is, and once again, we all know this given how the nobles and the royalty act in Black Clover, but even when he becomes a Magic Knight captain, and even after he is, like, shown to have it, because in Black Clover, in the Clover Kingdom anyway, it's like he who has the strongest mana and everything, oh, that's reverence, oh, he has really rare magic, he has really powerful mana and everything like that. Yami's got that. Yami's got the skills to pay the bills, and he's got the status, and the Wizard King likes him, all that stuff, but even then, people still discriminate against him. Not everyone. Obviously the members of his own squad like him, and like other members of the Magic Knights, like for example Jack. Jack kind of has like a rivalry with Yami. It's not like he hates him because he's a foreigner. It's just like, oh, come on, let's fight, buddy. He's like, oh, all right, let's go. It's more like that kind of deal. But there's a lot of other people that are in, like, the nobility and stuff and up in the royalty that kind of look down on Yami, because they still view him as nothing more than a foreigner. Just like, okay, yeah, you might be using a badass sword, you might have this incredibly rare kind of dark magic, you might have crazy mana skills, you might be really cool, but you're still a foreigner, so, we just don't like that. The fact that you're from a different realm, coming to the Clover Kingdom, maybe you might have usurped your way to the top, we're not into that. So he's had to deal with discrimination pretty much his entire life, which I think helps in the sense of him captaining the Black Bulls, because every single person that comes into the Black Bulls has a tragic backstory mostly, or they're running away from their homes in Gray's case, or in Vanessa's case. He saved, actually, Yami was the one that saved Vanessa from the witch's forest to begin with. Yami has he has an eye for talent. He knows it's just like either an eye for tragedy or an eye for talent. He's just like, hey, I sense, there was a lot of tragedy coming from this witch's forest. Oh, hey, a witch that's locked in a cage, quite literally. Anyway, want to bust you out? Come join my Magic Knight squad. Actually, I don't know if he was. I think he was the Magic Knight squad at that point when he busted in and saved Charlotte from the curse. I don't think he was a Magic Knight squad captain yet, but he was getting there. All right, but anyway, yeah, he tends to do that. He just tends to show up and been like, hey, you got weird magic and a tragic backstory. Join my squad, come on, it'll be a fun time. And like turns out like everybody he asks to join his squad turns out to be a main character in this story. Weird how that works out, isn't it, you know? So yeah, he just does what he does and he doesn't care. And also, it's very important, I think, another reason why Julius made him a Magic Knight captain. He's like, a lot of other Magic Knight squads might pick just the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Just like, oh, okay, this person has a lot of mana, so join my squad. This person has like the pedigree of, maybe a royal birth or something. Join my squad. Yami is the person that looks at everybody kind of like in an equal sense of just like, I don't give a shit, where you came from. I don't care what your backstory is. And in that particular sense, I don't really care if you were born to nobility or if you're a commoner or if you just washed ashore like I did. He looks at like the promise and like the character of the individual, and it's just like, I'll let you join. And that's shown exemplarily when we see how he accepted Asta. So Asta, at the Magic Knight exam, I gotta be straight up with you. Like, yeah, he doesn't have magic, which is like big marks against him in the Clover Kingdom. But the skills that he displayed, like the dude literally showed he had anti-magic. It's just like, hey, does anybody want this anti-magic kid? Anti-magic kid. He's a kid, he's got a lot of muscles, he's got these swords that allow, I guess, just a sword at that time. He's got a single sword that literally slices through any magic. Magic, the thing that we all use. This guy is the only person that can just cancel that out whenever he wants. Doesn't seem to be any limit on it. Any of the Magic Knight captains want him? No? Nobody? And Yami's just like, yeah, I guess I'll take him. He's like, oh, really? You want that? All right, fine, you can have him. Just like, look, I understand why the Golden Dawn and the Silver Eagles and all the really fancy, high-ranked ones didn't accept Asta, but you think at least, like, the Purple Orcas, or Jack's Green Praying Mantises, they would have looked at Asta and then been like, anti-magic kid. Yeah, okay, we could probably use him, yeah, or something, yeah, so Yami does that, though. He's just like, man, you can even imagine Yami's just like, man, nobody else wants the anti-magic kid. Plus, disregarding the anti-magic, this kid looks like he would be hilarious. This is good. Okay, fine, you're lost, whatever. I bet all the Magic Knight captains are kind of kicking themselves for that one now. After the whole ordeal with the elves, and you got to see what Asta can do, and he literally saved the kingdom and all that stuff. I bet some of the other captains, after getting to know him, are like, ah, damn, we kind of dropped the ball on that one, didn't we? He could have been I wonder what Black Clover would have been like if he joined if Asta joined the Crimson Lions or something like that. That would have been kind of funny to see in its own right? That's actually cool. That would actually be a really neat little side story things. You could do that if Tabata ever wants to take a break from the main story, or if the anime wants to do like a what-if scenario. Like, here's what would have happened if he joined, Jack's squad or, Fuegulion's squad. That would have actually been really neat to see. But anyway, getting to his magic. Okay, so it's dark magic. I really don't need to say more than that. I mean, it sounds cool, and it is. And also, by the way, his name is Yami, and anybody that's a big Yu-Gi-Oh kid growing up, we all know that Yami, is not the actual name of the character, but the 4Kids dub thought it was the actual name of the character, but also Yami as in, like, it's an actual Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's a field spell. Not a great field spell, but it's a field spell, and it's one of probably the first, like, Japanese words I remember being exposed to when I was a kid. So you look at Yami, and I'm like, what is Yami? What does that mean? And I had to look it up, and it's like, oh, it means, like, darkness. Okay, makes sense, because it's darkness on the card, and Umi means, like, sea, ocean, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see where this is going, right? So, yeah, that's that there, yeah, Yami. But yeah, dark magic. Okay, so you might think dark magic, I mean, and there's a lot of different, ways you can, depict this in fiction. A lot of times when you say, I have dark magic, you're like, oh no, you command the powers of evil! Like, you could summon demons and open up a portal to a demon realm, which Yami can kind of do that. That's kind of the whole premise of the Spade arc right now. Or it's just like, oh, I'm the final boss of the series. I have dark magic. Whoa! So, it works kind of similar to gravity magic in Black Clover, if you're going to compare it to it. Basically, how Yami utilizes dark magic is he always uses it in conjunction with his sword in some way. He has other spells that don't involve his sword, but all of, like, his attack powers combine dark magic with his katana. So, he basically cloaks his sword in darkness. Think of like One Piece Blackbeard kind of darkness. It's like a black fog or a haze that just kind of clings to his sword, and it augments his slicing power, alright? So he's got his lightless slash, which he just swings the sword and he shoots out a Getsuga Tensho. I mean, if we're being straight up, that's what it is. He shoots out a crescent energy sword swing, and it just fires the blast and it cuts anything he swings at, and it retains all the sharpness of his sword. However, unlike Ichigo, he has a few other abilities other than that. He can actually flip the sword around and use the lightless slash blunt end. He used this to knock Charla out of the way when he's like, oh, get out of the way, the attack's coming! And then he can, like, use Black Blade, and so he can, like, it kind of like Black Divider with Asta, where he, like, extends the actual size of the sword. So, like, lightless slash is sending out, like, a Getsuga. Black Blade is, like, taking the darkness and cloaking it and just extending the sword, so it's like a super long sword, like, that, like, hits the ceiling, and then he can, like, attack people like that, or he can knock people away, and he can use the blunt end to just kind of, like, cause concussive force to not, like, actually cut them into pieces. Lightless wild slashes, the name implies, he just takes the sword and just swings like a madman to attack. Darkness magic does not nullify magic, but it has the ability to absorb magic into it. So he has the power of Black Hole and Black Moon. So, like, if he's charging into a devil shooting waves of fire at him, if that situation ever happens to arise, can't think of why it would, but if he were to be able to do that, he can, like, Black Hole, and, like an actual black hole just opens up next to him and sucks in all of the fire so he can continue onward. So elements like, wind, water, earth, whatever, fire, of course, anything like that just gets sucked right into that. And dark magic, as you would imply, as you would figure, is the natural enemy of light magic, okay? And Patri, who was pretending to be leaked at the time, even stated this when they first encountered each other. Like, light magic is not just because dark magic can absorb light, but also he mentioned, like, light magic is revered for its speed. You make light javelins and light spears and, like, shoot them at the enemy. It's, like, super fast magic. Dark magic, in comparison, very slow, and it takes a while to cast, which is why Yami has to be kind of tricky with it. But it is the natural enemy of that, because the dark magic can suck up even the light. So, the problem there is, like I said, the speed with casting, but Yami kind of gets around that by augmenting his sword. Alright, so he doesn't have to take a long time to cast his abilities. He just cloaks his sword in the darkness, and then he can just rely on his physical prowess, because he's the most buff character in all of Black Clover. He just, like, adds the magic to the sword, and then his reflexes and his stamina and his speed, they're all, like, wicked honed, so he could just, like, slice you apart that way. He also adds reinforcement magic onto himself. A lot of, like, physical, like, melee kind of sword fighters do that in Black Clover. So he adds reinforcement magic onto his legs so he can jump higher and run faster. Reinforcement magic just in general to, like, better survive hits and, like, just, like, endure, attacks, in a better way than he usually would. So, stuff like that just allows him to continue on. He's got Mana Skin. He's got Mana Zone. Yami's Mana Zone ability is so damn cool. Just go back and watch the episode with the Equinox slash and he slices Zagreus in half. I mean, god damn. It's so damn cool. He just, like, enters, like Zen mode, where he just, like, and then, like, the mana zone just activates, drawing in all the mana from the area, kind of making it his own on top of his mana skin, and he just, like, brings down the slash. I should probably talk about the dimensional slash, because that's probably one of Yami's most powerful techniques, probably his most powerful technique at the moment. Yeah, Yami could slice through dimensions, so he learned a lot from Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, that was during the sea, the Sea Temple arc, where he was trapped in that realm there, and he was like, man, I wish I could cut my way out of here. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to learn how to cut my way out of here. He's like, you can't cut your way out of here. We're in a different dimension. Oh, yeah? You think so, don't you? Well, alright. And then his grimoire is like, hey, look, it looks like I passed up my limits. Here we go. At one point, it's just like, hey, Yami, you know this series is about Asta and, like, the new group, like, Yuno and everybody coming. He's like, yeah, well, they get stronger than me. Can they cut through dimensions? Because I can cut through dimensions. So, yeah. By the way, that dimensional slash technique, whenever he busts that out, that slices through pretty much anything. He used it against Zagrid when they started the fight. It did slice through him, but he's got his Kotodama magic, his, like, word magic, so he can be like, you know, oh, you sliced off my arm, well, I'll just have it return to my body, and then just pops right back on. But yeah, it's a dimensional slash, so defenses pretty much mean nothing when he uses it, and he just, like, brings down the hammer. And then the Equinox slash is when he has, like, a ridiculous amount of concentration with the mana zone and then brings it down. So, yeah, you'd think dark magic, you'd think there'd be a lot more complicated aspects to this, you know, but it really isn't with Yami. He uses it in a direct, you know, melee kind of way, with some supplemental techniques like the black hole, the reinforcement magic, and the black moon. The black moon basically just creates an entire zone of the black hole effect, where magic just gets absorbed into the black moon, and then also paralyzes the opponent briefly whenever they're afflicted by it, and then Yami just brings down the katana, and then just like, you know, no fuss, no muss, game over, right? So yeah, absolutely very strong character, but he can also get much stronger, you know, he's definitely not reached his limits. In fact, even if you look at his stats, you know, he breaks through his limits. His stats are pretty damn high. He even, like, when they were fighting the devil, he was, like, ranking himself, like, his mana output compared to everybody else. So, like, the devil, Zagrid, was at the top, and then the elves were there, and I think Nozel ranked a little higher than himself, but he put himself in that upper, higher tier of the, like, the middle category of, like, mana output and magic power, so he's definitely up there. But actually, thinking about it, I thought of another way he can actually increase his power exponentially. He never named his katana. We don't get the name of his katana. Now, his katana has been broken before, and I think there's probably, like, a special artisan that, like, knows how to create katanas in the Clover Kingdom. But yeah, Yami, you need to name your sword. If you name your sword, it increases the power by 1,000%. That's how anime works, Yami. Alright, so let me know below on if you were Yami, you were gonna name your sword, what would you name it? That's very important for the purposes of Yami's growth. Yeah. So, his magic's actually really simple. Now, like I said, coming up here in the arc with the Spade Kingdom and everything, there's going to be maybe a few more aspects of this, because you got to combine William Vengeance's World Tree magic with the Dark magic to open up that tree, and then that, you know, connects the living world with the underworld, or the world of the devils, so to speak. So, there's more to it than that, and just like a lot of magic in Black Clover, I'm sure Yami might not even be the only person, definitely not the only person in the world, but probably the only person in the Clover Kingdom that can use Dark magic. So there might be other people out there that can use dark magic, and they would use it in a different way than Yami does. But yeah, in the context of Black Clover, think of dark magic as essentially gravity magic, just on a really crazy high scale. It's also, another huge benefit of it, is it's one of the only magics that can actually damage devils. So most magic that you just throw at a devil, you know, like Zagrid, he had his power to just, like, nullify anything. So if you throw, like, Charla's Briars, she just attacked him with Briars, and can be like, Briars will wither away, and then they just wither, because they're affected by that magic. But darkness is like the catch-all be-all, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a human, or an elf, or a dwarf, or a devil, or whatever other kind of, you know, things exist in the Black Clover universe. It's like dark magic's gonna cut you. It's like the baseline. It's like almighty damage in Persona 5. It's just like, you know, when in doubt, you don't know what they're weak to, almighty the crap out of them. Door of Hades! Oh, Yami, you need to have an ability called Door of Hades. That would be so damn cool, right? So yeah, that's that there, right? Man, personality-wise, as you can imagine, pretty chill, pretty laid-back dude. You don't want to piss him off, though. When Yami gives you an order, you do it. When he tells you to shut up, you do it. When he tells you to get in there and fight, well, guess it's your time to shine, kid, and then pushes them in there to fight. Some of the funniest moments of this entire story come out of just Yami, alright, of just like his, I'm gonna kick your ass if you don't shut up kind of attitude, right? Kind of like your drunk uncle at a barbecue, just like, if you kids don't shut the hell up, I'm gonna whoop your asses. You know, that's kind of what Yami has going on there. Probably my favorite, like my funniest like moment in Black Clover personally for me, it was the moment during the Royal Magic Night exam when, and the funny thing, Yami wasn't even present watching that, but it was so funny. You even know the moment I'm talking about here, where Finral was fighting against Rangris, his brother, and you have Seke also on that team from the Green Praying Mantises, and Finral is using his spatial magic to defeat them in basically one hit by like, I'm not going to defeat you physically, I'm just going to use my spatial magic to warp you away, and so you're out of the battle and you're miles away, and you know, we can continue on. So Seke starts to attack him with that iron, you know, ball thing he's got, like cannonball, and then Finral just warps him away, and he appears right in the bathroom at the Black Bull base, right in front of Yami when he's taking a dump. That was hilarious. It's just this scene where Yami's just sitting on the toilet. Oh, man, I shouldn't have had all those quesadillas last night. Oh, it's gonna be a rough time. Pop! Seki just pop appears right in front of him. Well, you're gonna die. Yeah, well, there's gonna be some blood in this bathroom after we're done. That was so damn funny. There's like little moments like that just sprinkled through the entire story. During the Star Festival when he showed up wearing a fundoshi and everybody in Charlotte's like, oh my god, how could I fall in love with such a manly hunk of a man like this? They're an adorable couple, by the way. Yami is, of course, incredibly oblivious to it, doesn't really get it, so come on, Yami, get a clue. Come on, we can get up there. But yeah, there's that moment at the Star Festival, with Vanessa and Charlotte. They're kind of like, we're love rivals. We don't really know why, but we're love rivals. And then, of course, when Charlotte takes over Charlotte's body, the elf, and then they start working together, that's a really cool moment where they're combining their efforts together to defeat the devil. And when when the devil is defeated and all the elves are going back, the reincarnation magic is ending, Charlotte leaves Charlotte's body and is like, well, it was fun working with you, Magic Knight Captain Yami Sukehiro. I might be a little awkward, but the one I possessed is even more awkward. So go easy on her. And then Charlotte like passes out and Yami grabs her. And then we find out I'll be doing the Magic Knight series captains at some point. I don't know when, but we'll get to that. So we'll get more into Charlotte's, backstory when we're talking about her and the Blue Rose Knights and everything. But yeah, this scene right there where she's just passed out and the fight's over and he's like, all right, come here, I'll grab you. But he's still incredibly oblivious to it, and I'm like, come on, we get a clue and we're good. I think he kind of knows. He's not 100% oblivious, but maybe he's shy. Okay, it is like tough persona, but he's a little shy. But yeah, at some point there's probably going to be a bigger arc, beyond just the diamond and the heart and the spade and the Clover Kingdoms. There might zoom out even more. It seems to like doing the world building thing with the story, and it's relatively early on. It's like 200 chapters in, but yeah, hopefully after the Spade Kingdom arc we can expand even further to all these other lands of the world. We have to go to the place where like the dwarves are because of Charmy and everything, so that might be a different country altogether. And then the Sun Kingdom where Yami is from, so that could be another arc beyond the Spade Kingdom arc where Yami plays the central figure. We go back to his homeland. Maybe we get to meet Yami's family. Like, can you imagine what Yami's dad is like? He might just be a regular fisherman, but can you imagine what Yami's granddad is like? It's just like, Yami goes back home, and his grandpa's sitting in the rocking chair, and he's like super buff, and he's got an epic beard, and he's like, who's there? Yami, you little brat, you ran away all those years ago, And it's just like, oh my god, this is Yami's family, but you get like where he learned it all from, right? That would be so damn cool to get to that point, but that's probably going to be a long way off, considering we're just getting into this Spade Kingdom arc. But someday, ladies and gents, someday. Can you imagine Yami's mom? Oh, either ridiculously hot, but probably also ridiculously hot and ridiculously buff, knowing the series. We'll go with that. Let's see. Key sensing, that's another big one. That's something he picked up from his own country, and he taught Asta. And it's like, hey, he's like, he could teach maybe the other members of the Black Bulls, or not just the Black Bulls, but like the Magic Knight Captains on how to sense ki and everything. That would be an extremely useful ability, but he just doesn't, probably because he just doesn't feel like it, because he's Yami. And maybe they also probably wouldn't be like, some of them might just be like, we don't want to learn something from a foreigner, and be like, all right, screw you then. You know, like, I don't care. I don't think the Magic Knight captains would all be like that, especially now. Like, Jack the Ripper and everybody, they're kind of like on, well, Jack the Ripper kind of has an interesting relationship with Yami, but you know what, they don't all like judge him that way, but a lot of the Clover Kingdom, like, nobility does. But yeah, right now, we got to see his fight with Dante, which was epic. We got to see the dark cloaked EI slash, ability. So Yami's really busting out the moves there, and I can't wait to see how this arc's gonna continue, because this is gonna be a Yami arc. I mean, yeah. You got Asta doing his devil, because Asta has a devil too, and the whole Spade Kingdom has devils, and of course you got the devil that killed Noelle's mom involved in all this and everything. So you got a lot of stuff in this part, but Yami's gonna be a central figure here, as well as William Vengeance, the captain of the Golden Dawn. So we'll wait to see for that. But yeah, Yami, I'm just gonna end it there, because there's not much more I could say about the man. He stays true to the blade, and he stays true to who he is, and I just can't wait to see more from him there. Signing out, everybody. There you go. Hope you enjoyed the Black Clover discussion series. That only took about 11 months to get through that. Yep. See you back here when either we find out who the, apparently the vice captain of the Black Bulls is in one of the most recent chapters. We can talk about that person, or when I feel like discussing the the Magic Knight captains. Until then, hope you guys enjoyed. Signing out, everybody.